Welcome to Bottom Sports Talk. I'm George Abraham. You know my partner, Albert Campman. Al, we've had a plethora of scores, and now we want to honor a team that had another successful year, Boardman.
My goodness gracious, 28 straight conference wins.
Yes.
Beat Canfield 59-43 Wednesday night and moved them to 14-5, 8-0 in the AAC red tier. Ethan Anderson had a tremendous game for the Spartans with 32 points and 10 rebounds. That's a lot of wins in a row in your conference. It sets the tone for others to try to reach that and try to get into that Boardman winning streak. All under 9-year head coach Pat Birch.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Bourne for that domination on the conference.
Yeah. That night, when you start putting big numbers on top of big numbers, and you win 28 conference games in a row, now it's starting to get, those kids are coming to the gym thinking they're going to win.
Yeah, and that legacy is passed down to the junior high kids. Absolutely. All the way down. I've seen that in action, where you're expecting to win, you practice to win, you believe you're going to win. That positive thought, the positive practices, they go hand in hand when you have a winning streak like this. Struthers moved to 21-0 also. What a year they've had. I feel bad for Struthers, I really do, because they know that as good as they are, Akron St. Vincent St. Mary's waiting for them. And as Poland coach said before, it's not fair.
We've talked
we've
about it.
We've done everything we could do
we turned blue. And if I'm saying to them, play D1.
Yeah, Division Two. I understand. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know if they can, but I know this. Talking to 3 outstanding coaches from Ohio, all 3 of them told me that Moeller and St. Vincent Mary's are the 2 best teams in the state of Ohio. One's in Division Two.
Hey, Warren JFK, Cam Hollabaugh, not bad, 1,000 points.
1,000-point score, but more importantly to me, and we wanted to share this with you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget, he was also Trumbull County Player of the Year in football, and Defensive Player of the Year in Division 7.
We like to go into it a little.
Yeah, that's why
we like guys that play everything.
We really
do.
We had Buddy Morris on, and Buddy Morris, if you don't know, is the strength coach for the Arizona Cardinals, and good friends with George. I got to know him through the show, and he makes it clearly that if you play more than one sport, your muscles develop the right way, you totally become a better all-rounded player. Now, I'm not talking about George, the 6'9" kid. He should only play basketball. He's a hooper.
Yeah.
I understand. I'm talking about the normal 6'2", 6'3" kid who wants to become a great athlete, and that's what Cam has done. He took it on the football field, and now he just went over 1,000 points as Warren JFK, who's going to be seeded number 2. They have an outstanding team of basketball too. Is led by Cam, and in their 78-68 win over Hubbard, he joined the 1,000-point scoring club. We've had a kid every week, George, for I think the last 4 or 5 weeks go over 1,000 points. We always want to honor kids individually on this local show, as we hit on teams, but we also hit on individuals.
And hats off to McDonald, another outstanding season.
Yeah, McDonald also is rated number 5 in Division 4. They've been good for so long. One of our greatest TV trips we've ever had was there, and seeing the legacy of the uncles, aunts, grandparents, parents right down the line in McDonald. They don't leave. They're like one of those places that I just play for my dad. That's all. Yes.
Hey, this is the first. We're getting ready for not spring football, but the real season. We're having an extra season, and YSU, like if you said to Coach Phillips, Coach, here's what we're going to do. He'd say, could we play North Dakota State maybe later?
Yeah.
God bless them.
Yeah, they did not give YSU any favors playing the number 1 team in by far in the division, North Dakota State, going to the Fargo Dome to play before 9,500, 10,000 fans that are going to be rapid. And the fans, those Rabbit fans at North Dakota State are the real deal. I remember seeing them on
Game day.
Game day, yes.
Yeah.
They're
I remember
craziness.
they showed downtown, and there was like an old movie theater. Like it reminded me of Leave It to Beaver.
Right.
The 50s or 60s. There were still downtown areas. Walmart hadn't killed all the stores.
Right.
And I looked and I thought, you know what? They got something special here. Then, since they just thrown national title on top of national title.
Yeah, it's the biggest game in town. When you're
It's-
talking North Dakota State, you're saying this. It's like a pro team out there, and
Absolutely.
so YSU's going to play them. Then they have to play Northern Iowa, and
What a tough.
then they have to play South Dakota State. All three of them in the top 5 rankings in the spring football.
And
poll.
rightfully,
Oh yeah,
right?
the league is loaded. The league is
I
loaded.
remember I saw North Dakota State's last game. I'm not sure if they were better on offense or defense. That's the scary part. They can beat you 62-60, and they can beat you 10-7.
Yeah, the best teams in the country do that.
Yeah.
The best teams that they can win 2 different ways in football, basketball, and baseball. We've always said that if a baseball team can win one day 8-3, and the next game win 1-0, that's a great baseball team. Basketball the same way, and football, North Dakota State does that, George. They always have a great quarterback. They can always have a great offensive line, and defensively they got speed. And so, YSU, Coach Phillips,
Good luck, Cat.
you are going to have to really gear it up. We talked to an expert on our radio show that said 1 offensive lineman back, 1 secondary guy back, lots of good-looking young kids that they're going to be trying to play with. We know that Coach Phillips has them ready. I like his young coaching staff that he's got out on the road recruiting and go get them. So there's a lot of positive things in place. North Dakota State is not a good place to start.
Now, speaking of the gross domestic product of a nation, or Fernando Tatis Jr.'s contract. Come on, Al.
I know, amazing. $340 million over 14 years. It's the 3rd largest contract ever behind Mike Trout and Ben.
Let me interrupt you. 14 years. Do you remember where you were in 2008?
No, I
You'd
have
have
no
to
idea.
think about it.
I have no idea. You made a good
That
point.
says what we don't know.
You made a good point on that, George. That investors,
No.
investment people, think it's not a good contract.
Terrible contract.
That's interesting.
2 reasons.
How about think
Well,
about saying that?
I know.
$340 million.
Well, when you
George.
figure out the average or whatever, the thought is that in 15 years that won't be a big salary.
Right.
And one of the guys I heard, these are investment guys, these are not football guys. They said you want paid in something like real estate that appreciates, a percentage of the team, something like this. They said the last thing you want is inflated dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Because God knows 20 million, you and I'd get by. We might even give, a little bit of money away. But the point is, with that kind of money, you don't know in 15 years. It might look like poor Fernando.
Why did he sign that contract?
Yeah, look at what the guy beside him's making.
Yeah, that's
But I think there's a 7. Yeah, I think there's an opt-out at 7.
gotcha.
But you're exactly right.
Well, the best news about this contract, I at least got a laugh, because Dusty Baker got a text from one of his friends.
Dusty's about 72. He's about my age.
He said, "Hey, someone sent me a text." And I thought the team was sold. He said, he said it best: $340 million. Their infield now for San Diego is worth paid $800 million. Infield alone,
Just the info.
just the infield, George. It's unheard of.
Opening day
money-
pay. Now, here's the best part, though, Al. For our non-baseball fans, our casual fans, the 180 isn't near the Dodgers payroll.
No, it's not. So San Diego's went out and spent like crazy to try to get a winner. They won't have to keep spending, because I still don't think they're as good as the Dodgers. People are saying they are. I don't see it. I don't think Bauer puts them over. Puts Dodgers over.
I honestly, I think when you add Bauer to Hershiser and Miller, I don't think they're close to as good as the Dodgers.
No, their pitching staff is they
It's
got
good.
and they got Gatlin and they got
it's good.
Gosselin. I mean, they got
good.
young pitchers at the Dodgers too that are really good.
Hey,
So-
something interesting. leadership qualities we've discussed that you make the others better. Da, 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 da. The week before the Super Bowl, Brady sends the family out and turns into a player coach. Guy's getting 5:30 a.m. texts and visits on the Skype or whatever, basically getting them hemped up to play a Super Bowl like they never have.
Yeah, when you read into the Super Bowl and you read behind-the-scenes stories, that's the one that stood out to me. That Leonard Fournette, who's never, ever came across as a team player.
You ever thought he's all in?
No,
No,
never. Said, Tom Brady convinced me, and he's talking about himself, to be the team player. Convinced me to go all in. He said, when he spoke for the team and said, we're playing for the honor of your name on that jersey, the place went crazy. The players all stood up, were ready to run. You know, everybody else was talking about it's a Super Bowl and it's a money and it's a. He said, listen, Brady just said it's an honor to be here, and you guys have to look in the back of your jersey who you're representing, and when it touches Fournette, you know, it touches everybody.
Yeah, he'd be the last guy.
Yeah, exactly. It's
He
amazing.
remind me of Marshawn Lynch. Like if you can get
Exactly.
to him, and ironically, he said the way he delivered it. He said I was ready to go. He said we were in there, and you know I know. For an example, he calls him like playoff Lenny or something. And he ran with that ball with the purpose.
It's always been
it was
talent.
one of my few prop bets.
It's
that
always
I won,
been talent.
You know that?
Well, the other thing about that is Brady can talk the talk because he walks the walk. There's no greater leader
No.
that if you show up at 5:30 in the morning, he's already there. And I'm not joking when I say that. He's there. He's at the place way before anybody else is. He's a working machine. He drinks the water like it's made just for him. He stays in the greatest shape. His 43 is better shape than any guy in that
Who
team.
did somebody the other day, somebody with a pretty good pedigree, they said, listen, he's going to play past 45.
Why wouldn't he?
He said he's going to play you 2 more years, 45. This guy said he's going to play past that.
Yeah, when I look at him, I see zero oldness. I don't.
Doesn't look like George Blanda coming in with a heater.
Right. He's never been a runner anyway.
No,
He just moves around in the pocket and he goes down. He can throw the ball down the field. He can throw the ball short. He's the smartest guy in the league. And if anybody can play it, if anybody can do it, I'll say Brady be the guy who can do it. No question.
Al, speculation, going here, going here, going here, going there. The smart money was on Wentz going to the Colts with his old coordinator.
And that's why, yes.
You know, I gotta be honest with you. He's one of those guys that drives me crazy. Going for 2 down 9.
Peterson.
The coach.
Well, Rich for Indianapolis.
He gets me a little bit right.
Frank
He
Reich,
gets
yes.
me a little bit. He gets me upset at home.
Yeah. Easily. All those guys do. George and I call each other all the time.
What's he doing, Al? He's down 9. He'll call me. He'll go. Now, why is he going for 2?
Tell me why they're
I
doing
said,
this.
Albert, I can't answer.
They don't have an answer either. I don't care what the analytics say. If you're going to be down more than a touchdown, you don't go for it. But Frank Reich knew how good Wentz was at that stretch where he was playing MVP, and then Wentz went in the tank. He looked really poor.
Let's talk about Wentz. You know, you North Dakota State once again. Youngstown knows.
Right.
You're thinking old school, hungry, kind of from a little place. It appeared that he just wanted out of Philly bad enough. He wasn't beyond turning off the clock.
He turned off the clock. Yeah,
He
no
turned it
question.
off.
Yeah, he did. No question about that.
Talk about it. It's conditional pick if he plays 70% or they make the playoffs. Bottom line is they're going to get a first-round pick out.
Yeah, Philadelphia's getting some picks and also they're saving a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because Wentz had a big contract.
$25.4 million
Yeah.
off the cap.
So the cap, anytime you can clear the cap and you're trying to build like Philadelphia is, it's a good move. It was a good move for both teams. I see Indianapolis making a big jump with Wentz as quarterback, and I see Philadelphia in 2 or 3 years having new players that are young and hungry and
Well, that Colts
really
like
talented.
Jacksonville's starting over. Houston is, I don't know what's going on yet.
Yes.
So you got to beat Tennessee.
Tennessee, you got to beat, right? And they'll be I think they're favorite over Tennessee now.
All right. No,
Yes.
you're a big
Now.
Wentz guy. So
Yeah, I am a big Wentz.
I'm just
I meant
gonna
it.
sit
Yeah,
back.
no, I'll say that completely. Yeah, I think he reminds me of Josh Allen, and anybody can run the ball.
No, you were
can
all
move.
over Josh Allen.
I just think that I think Wentz really went in the tank because his head was down, and when you're looking at the defense, you don't see the defense coming.
No.
Yeah, Philadelphia did that complete with their offensive line went in the tank, And
Let's shift gears. Let's talk NCAA tournament. Quarter of the fans. You glad to see it?
yeah, I am. I'm
Does
very
that
glad.
kind of tell you the pandemic's? I'm not waning. I'll use the word waning.
I hope it's waning, but I won't say that yet because I make sure people are still following direction. That's why we have our masks on. Waning does not mean just go out there and celebrate in party time. Waning means you make good decisions. When you go to these games, you see these games being played in at the NCAA tournament. 25% George, what would that be? 20,000 fans, 10,000
Well, if
fans.
it's 80, it's 1/5. So you're talking these big stadiums. You could get 15, 20,000.
Yeah, and they'll make noise.
That's not a small.
No, you'll hear
Now
it.
that's counting team personnel and everybody.
Right.
So
You'll
it's
be able to
probably
hear
fewer
it. At
fans.
least you'll be able to hear what they're
Hey,
saying.
face coverings.
Question.
A must. You can't get in.
Yes, have to.
Social distancing.
Yeah.
Cleaning, disinfecting. That's one thing everyone's doing a better job. I've washed my hands more the last time
Every time.
in the
you got
last
to.
year. I will say that. So that probably I should have been doing it all along. What are the big conferences we have to talk about? You and I go back to Georgetown, St. John, North Carolina, Duke, the big boys, UCLA way back. This ACC tourney, they may not get a 3.
Yeah, right now when you talk about the top conference going in basketball history, it's the ACC with the Dukes and Carolinas and the rest of that crew down there. Right now, and Virginia just won the national championship. Right now, they are looking at maybe one team getting a 3 seed. That could be Virginia. They're looking at Duke maybe not even in the tournament.
I don't have Duke in. Do you?
No, they're not in right now. No.
Carolina, I think, can either
They're on
play
the
their
edge.
way in or get it.
They're on the edge.
Those bigs they have can give you trouble.
Yep, they're right on the edge. That's
Now,
Carolina.
but Duke could win the tourney, though. Last 2 games, they've just...
Beat Wake Forest and Georgia Tech. I still
Yeah,
say
that's
those
Wake
two
Forest
teams are
and Georgia
bad.
Tech. Let me pull back.
Yeah, that's why you got to watch. When you see who they beat, they're expected to beat them.
Yeah.
We'll know more. We'll know more when they play Virginia. How
Would they have to win it, Al? They're
Yes.
a little over 500.
I think they have to. They're 10-8 right now. I think. Or
Okay,
something
Carolina could probably get to the final, and they're going to play yet the regular season.
Like that. Yep, they're still going to keep
Uh,
going. But the ACC had such a terrible year.
Talk about, you know what? I have to admit, till you researched this, I did not sit back and say, you know what? They lost every bowl game.
They lost every bowl game. So the ACC had lost every, and now their basketball conferences. So the ACC commissioner has to be saying, "Hey boys, let's get it together here."
Hey, coaches,
We're not doing
you're all making
millions.
big boy money.
Yeah, let's get it
I mean,
together.
even the guy at Pitt's making big boy money.
Oh yes, his team doesn't look like it though. His team doesn't look like lost 5 out of the last 6. Doesn't look like it. But the coach that has the biggest name in ACC is Coach K, and
Yeah,
I don't understand what's going on there.
Would you like to hook him up to a lie detector,
Yes, I would.
like in the movies when they say,
If you
Mr.
follow the fans,
Campman?
you're following with Jalen Jackson,
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson, excuse me. He decided Jalen did say, I'm going to opt out and get ready for the NBA.
Is that
draft."
euphemistic for quit?
Yes, for me it is.
Okay, you're.
And the reason I say that is, for the last 3 games they've been leading them out anyway, and they've been playing 9 minutes a game, and I still think that's the reason he got out. And they're going to say he got out to be ready for the pros, and he's this and that, projected top 10 pick. I know this for sure, and I'll be wrong. I'll admit it. I wouldn't think about drafting him. A guy that quit. A guy that quit the
Can I
team.
ask you something?
Yeah,
3 high schools. Any flags?
big flags. Big
Quit his
flags.
college team.
Big flags.
Any flags?
Big flags. Those flags go up in my head. So you have to be super talented, like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant did the same thing.
You could have some flags.
He played 4 high schools.
Yeah.
He didn't, but he was a different breed from the time he stepped foot on Texas. He was so different. I watched Johnson play, and I would if you asked me which one's the best player on the floor, never did I say.
Boeheim got in a lot of trouble.
What did he say, Coach?
They asked Boeheim. They said, because you remember he and Kay are tight.
Yes, they are like that.
The Olympics. He said, let's be honest. He said he was killing that team. They're better without him. And he got in some trouble for that.
And I believe that too.
Yeah.
I believe that. I say it all the time. As coaches, we have been blessed in the past with kids that decided to step away, and we talked to the assistants and said, this is a blessing for us. I guarantee Coach
That's
K.
a bad guy.
I guarantee Coach K and the assistants. I do. I've huddled up and said, we got a chance to take off and play better now. Because he was not.
And isn't it nicer around here without there's a halo that those bad guys put around your program. You know it.
As George says it best, if you get a beautiful ice cream cone,
One little bit of
one little drop of manure in there,
ice cream
you
shot.
don't get it's
Oh,
gone.
the ice cream's gone.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of manure, just a little bit.
Hey, good news, not real good. I think Ohio State
They really don't care. Do
has
they?
put Michigan so far in the
Yeah, they
rear
have.
view that it's not even worth talking about. But Joe Milton's leaving. He has 3 years left. That tells me he's probably graduated. He's going to have his master's before he's done playing college football, but it won't be for the Wolverines.
Yeah, and what a problem this is for Jim Harbaugh.
Oh.
He is the quarterback whisperer is supposed to be.
Yeah, supposed to be.
He's lost Brandon Peters.
Mm-hmm.
He's lost Dylan McCaffrey. And now he's losing Joe Milton, who was a starting quarterback last year when he started the year. Started off the first game, was looking really well, and then went in the tank. This is going to be this has to raise questions about Harbaugh, George. He's always in the limelight for the wrong reason.
What's going? Yeah, I don't want to see him over with the Pope. I don't want to see him chasing the Bulls.
No.
I want to see him line up and be able to beat stinking Rutgers
Yes.
without 3 overtimes.
Yeah. If ever was a guy that has not lived up to the contract, it is Jim Harbaugh. I look at him and think they don't look any better. That's how you judge teams.
You know where?
You know.
I'm going to pick a play out where they started going down the hill and they can't get the car stopped now. The 4th down, he thought they made for sure. Several years
against
ago,
Ohio
they
State.
measured it against Ohio State, and he didn't make it.
I remember.
They have not been the same. Now, I can't say that exact play, but you know what I mean.
Oh, I remember exactly. And that play, if they win, if they get that first or whatever, and they win that football game, they get better recruits. The recruits get better every year. All of a sudden, it's a snowball effect. Instead, who's getting those recruits? The Buckeyes. The Buckeyes are getting the recruits every darn year. Michigan's in the top 10, but they're not in the top 2. And it's a difference. And Michigan is not. Jim Harbaugh's not paid to beat Purdue.
Did you ever see one of those tests where they'll show you a little thing and then the next picture over? Michigan is to Ohio State as Auburn is to Alabama.
Yes,
They're compared, maybe
Not
not
even-
fairly.
it's true though.
In other words, the bottom line is Michigan, until he can line up,
Can't.
and I've been...
I won't see it happen. I'm not going to see it in my lifetime. I think Ohio State's that. I see a gap. I mean, I don't see a little.
They're not second anymore.
No, I don't see.
I have a kid, it's
I
a
don't
buddy
see
of
that.
mine. He's a ridiculous Michigan fan. He
Mhm.
doesn't, in matter of fact, we were talking the other day, I said, you're below Wisconsin,
They
for
are.
sure.
They are.
You're at the best even with Minnesota.
Right.
You're probably
Michigan State
right
beats
Northwestern. Now in the eastern half, Penn State, not quite.
Oh.
You're not there.
So that's 6 teams now. You're saying.
And Michigan State, I mean, they were lousy this year, but
They beat-
historically they beat
Michigan,
them.
Yeah, that's 6 teams. But they rehired him, so they see something in Jim Harbaugh. I would like to see him. I love when Michigan Ohio State's good. I love when I see that game lined up and.
Yeah,
toss-
the
it's a
basketball
toss-up.
game is going to be a monster. It's for a 1 seed.
Yeah, it is. That's nice to see Michigan Ohio State basketball both doing very well.
All right, let's talk a little bit about some new coaches. You have a guy that you think is coming to town blazing guns. They're going to step right up and just go right to the top.
Yeah, I do.
Talk about that.
I have 2 opinions to that are really big. One was on Carson Wentz. I really think that's a great get. The other one, I think Sarkisian's the guy. I truly believe he's ahead of the game offensively. Therefore, all the recruits are going to come to Texas because they want to play for him. He had a problem with his drinking. He's got that straightened out. Alabama has the best players in the country, so I understand who he coached there. But I like what he does. He takes the best players and uses them. You saw the quarterback at Texas. He has a really good quarterback coming back. He came into that bowl game. I mean, came and took over. And I think his name's Thompson. I think it was Thompson.
Oh, there's one thing about Texas. There's no shortage of. I don't know if it's the motivation, if it's the system, the scheme, whatever. But you don't go out there and look like They're one of those shirt-off teams.
Yeah, Texas. That's why I think Sarkisian is the guy.
That's a good point.
He's not coming into a place that doesn't have talent. I mean, Texas has players. They got players all over the field that have not played like they're supposed to, and they're even going to get better players. So you're talking about better players. Hey, how much money they got? We talked about Alabama being a machine. Texas will give him anything he wants to
The
win.
budget's limitless.
Yes, it is. So
Just
you got
out of zero, we need out of zero.
yeah. So you got that also. I just see big things happening. And then at Utah State, Blake Anderson, what a coach he was at Arkansas State. You'd watch his teams.
Like the Red Wolves or somebody.
Yeah, and they would tear people apart. He just gets it, understands offensive football, gets his kids to play super hard. There's not a lot of penalties. All the things we look for in a coach. Those two coaches, Steve Sarkisian and Blake Anderson, are two coaches I really like in the front in college football.
Now these are guys that have to coach them up. Like the old Boise coaches, they're not getting 5 stars, right?
At Utah State, no, but at Texas they are.
Oh no, Texas. No,
Texas
no.
they are. At Utah State, no.
Texas. No.
At Utah State.
What
no.
do you need at Texas? What do you need? Because
Yeah.
you got it.
Yeah, you do, and when you get somebody with the charisma of Sarkisian and the ability to coach offense, that's why he's so good there. But you're right. At Utah State, you have to have a value system that
That's what I always say about Pitt. I have to coach them up. They're not getting 5 stars.
no.
Same thing.
And remember, Utah State's they're playing 2 or 3 good, but other than that, they can win 6 to 7 games every year.
I gotcha.
Outside, whereas Pitt, you have to understand they're playing teams way better than them.
There you go.
You know, they won 7 games at Pitt.
Yeah. Good.
You know, Ohio State, you have to
you're
win.
fine.
You have to win 10 games
Absolutely.
because you're getting the best players. You are getting the best players
Absolutely.
every year. So you should be winning,
Yeah.
and that's why we're just going to talk down about Michigan. They should be number 2, and they haven't been. But college football is based on recruiting.
Yeah.
I mean that's where it's at, and
Absolutely.
some schools give you anything you want to recruit, and other schools you know, they put restrictions on you. So when the new coach comes in there, he knows
Yep.
I need
Absolutely.
this and that, whatever.
You heard it. I can't argue a bit. You heard it here. Thanks again for watching Bottom Line Sports Talk. We'll see you next week.